between the Saints and Rams in LA. That's going to be a good one. I'm going. A pair of young quarterbacks facing off as Kyler Murray meets Lamar Jackson. Another big division matchup for the Cowboys and a huge game for the Steelers to avoid an 0-2 start. We go coast to coast on all of these games in the Sports Center huddle. Let's start off with Jeremy Fowler and the Steelers.
The Steelers want to regain their edge on offense after a dreadful performance in New England. Quarterback Ben Roethlisberger met this week with offensive coordinator Randy Fichtner to map out how they want to call the game against Seattle. So do not be surprised if you see some smash-mouth football. The Steelers ran a lot of east to west runs against the Patriots and struggled mightily. And this is one of the best offensive lines in the league. They want to hit the Seahawks in the mouth up the middle. And watch out for wide receiver Dante Moncrief. He had several drops the other day, but he's playing with a dislocated finger. He told me he plans to play through it because his quarterback needs him.
Dak Prescott doesn't want to talk about his contract. He doesn't want to talk about his perfect showing in the season opener, 405 yards and 4 touchdowns against the Giants either. His mind is on Washington. You can't hang your hat on one game, he said. It's about turning the page. Jason Garrett said Prescott's ability to move on, good or bad, has been the quarterback's best trait. He embraces every challenge head on with his shoulders back, Garrett said. That attitude, according to the coach, is contagious to the rest of the team. As for the contract, I'm told all is quiet for the time being. That's fine by Prescott. His focus is on the field.
Kyler Murray's numbers through his first 3 NFL quarters were, simply put, horrendous. But all of that flipped during the fourth quarter and overtime. So I asked Coach Cliff Kingsbury how Murray has been since his NFL debut. He told me he grew up a lot. You saw his talent in the fourth quarter. He now knows the level of focus and intensity he has to start with. For his part, it's been a great week for Murray as he prepares for Baltimore and his first NFL road game in one of the league's most challenging environments. But judging by Murray's character, no one inside the Cardinals locker room believes he will be swallowed by the moment.
Saints head coach Sean Payton usually addresses the elephant in the room when a major storyline dominates the headlines. He did so leading into week 1 when New Orleans was trying to break the streak of 5 straight season-opening losses. But his approach this week has been different. The Saints look to get revenge for the brutal NFC Championship loss against the Rams, which of course featured the infamous no call. But Payton's company line this week has been, it's the most important game because it's the next one. But I spoke to linebacker Demario Davis, and he said that even though the team needs to focus on this game without any carryover emotions from last season, he did tell me, quote, "Of course there's a chip on our shoulder. We want to stick it to them."
Damien back with us to break down the rematch of the NFC Championship game. First, let's listen to Drew Brees talking about that bitter, controversial loss in the game in January.
Still haven't, never will. But when you say forgotten about, I mean, you know, you have to find a way to compartmentalize it to the point where, you know, you can move on in a positive way. And so I found a way to do that. But as far as just, you know, the events, you know, you live and learn, and you know, sometimes things don't go your way, and you got to find a way to come out better on the other side.
They're never going to forget that game, never, ever. But I don't know. Do they use it for extra motivation, more fuel? Is that a thing? Is that a reality? The media likes to talk about, oh, this team's much more motivated because of that. Does that really play into it?
I think there is a little something to that. I remember back in 2001, we beat the Oakland Raiders in the Tuck Rule game.
Yeah,
and then we played them the following year. And we played them out in Oakland, and literally it seemed like the whole city of Oakland was waiting on us, and you just had this vibe like, this is not going to end well. Yeah. And it didn't end well that night because it was so emotionally charged. And I'm pretty sure that the New Orleans Saints entering this game, they'll be fired up and ready to go.
Okay. The Saints on a short week. They got to travel to L.A. We'll see how that one plays out. That's going to get a lot of eyeballs. Meanwhile, Browns-Jets Monday night. Odell Beckham Jr. is going to have his head on a swivel because of Jets defensive coordinator Gregg Williams, who was formerly the D.C. in Cleveland. And OBJ believes Williams made him a target in a preseason game a few years ago.
The only thing I'm buying is, you know, probably just got to watch out for the cheap shots and the dirty hits and all the things that he likes to teach. I mean, if I was a coach, I would never teach what he teaches, but that's just him and what he does. So, I mean, you know, I had players on this team telling me that that's what he was telling them to do, take me out of the game, and it's preseason. So you just know who he is.
Those are pretty damning comments by Odell. Does that square with what you know of Gregg Williams?
I have a hard time buying that because, regardless of, what Gregg Williams might say, I think most players, there is like a brotherhood. Mm-hmm. Guys don't necessarily want to intentionally hurt a guy. Obviously, football is a contact sport and things are going to happen, but for one player to go out there and try to intentionally hurt another player, I just you don't really see those type of things. So I don't really buy into that notion.
Okay, so he could be preaching, is what you're saying, but you don't think the players are going to listen to that and change the way they play the game?
Yeah, I think players, for the most part, they want to compete, but they're not looking to take a guy out that way.
That's good. Browns Jets Monday night, 8:15 Eastern, of course, on ESPN. Monday Night Football.